That all looks good to go. So let's go. Here we are. It's tunnel meeting number 151. It's June 17th, 2025. And today we are being joined by Ashley, Colleen, Ian, Jeffrey, Tavo, and Vanny. I imagine a couple more people will hop in, but we're gonna make a little bit of a habit not starting too late. Agenda is relatively short, as you can see on screen. Starting off with a couple of mentions and then an update on the Q3 budgets, of which the governance process just concluded. And there will be time for open topics, so please don't hesitate if you happen to have any topics you feel like would be good to discuss at town hall. Well, now's the chance, right? But before going there, a quick reminder on what the ambassador program is and what we do. Basically, we're a group of like-minded people that are quite in tune with the mission and vision of Singularity Net and its ecosystem, and working towards beneficial AGI. And we do this in quite wide range of self-organizing work groups. So if you're interested in joining in, we do have a work group that fits your interests and needs. So yeah, do hop onto our Discord server. There's a how to join section, which explains how to join. So hope to see you there. Then a couple of mentions. I wanted to call out a specific talk by Ben Goertz and Humayun at Proof of Talk in Paris. Let me quickly drop it in chat as well, just for completeness sake, because I thought it was a really good talk. Basically, it gives it's a timestamp link, so it will go to their panel out of the whole day stream. And it was just good. It's a proper solid overview on yeah, basically where we are as ASI right now and where things will go. And it also included a little shout out and the importance of community. And that's us. So yeah, it's not too long. It's like 20 minutes ish. So yeah, I do recommend checking that out if you can find some time. And also wanted to throw another reminder on the calendar because it keeps being a thing that schedules are not identical to what we have in the calendar. So please check for the work groups you're in if the shared calendar is actually reflecting the schedule, because it's just a bit annoying if you're planning on yeah attending a session and then it's not happening. And yeah, schedules have been changing, as we all know. Some work groups have cut down their weekly meetings to bi-weekly or monthly even. And yeah, would be good to have it properly reflected as a like single source of truth in the calendar. And I guess something I didn't put on the slide, but I created a Discord channel about the website I was talking about last week, including a link to the staging website. I think we're still relatively close to going live. However, there are some issues. I highlighted some in the channel as well. Like the calendar is not exactly loading everything correctly, which yeah, would be a nice to have, let's say. If we have a calendar, it should load everything correctly. Um, yeah, and there's some small issues. But in general, all feedback is welcome. So yeah, if you feel stuff is missing, for example, right now I just made a quick short list for some items that should be under the resources page. That list is also in the Discord channel, so please check it if you feel like something's missing or we should be having something that's currently not there. Well, yeah, please mention so that we can add it. And just to make sure, like we will have backend access on, we can add it over time. At the same time, it would be good if it's as complete as possible when it goes live. And I think that's it on the mentions, which brings us to an update on the Q3 budgets. We had a governance call earlier today where we went over the responses, trying to puzzle out objections and see if they're valid objections. And yeah, as you can see on screen, we had 33 participants, which is almost double of last quarters. So that's quite awesome. We had 17 people participating last iteration. And for a total of 315 responses. So yeah, as you can see on average, about 10 work groups per person is what we're getting input on. So all the work groups did make the threshold of 17% we set ourselves, which in itself is great. At the same time, I kind of felt like, well, if we're experimenting with a quorum, maybe it's better for the experiment if not everybody makes it, because now nothing happens, right? Um, but yeah, that's something to. I'm not sure how that experiment will continue, but yeah, for now at least all the work groups did get the 10 minimum responses needed. Yeah, I won't read out all the workgroup names. You can see that yourself. Maybe I can highlight the workgroups that still have a little bit of work to do because they received objections. That would be education, gamers, marketing, R&D, strategy, translation, video, and writers. On the next slide, I put a link to the sheet. I'll put it in chat, but this is also on the, I think, Ambassador General channel. Vanessa saying in chat, I wonder if it was the quorum that mobilized people to get on and do a form or three. Hmm, it might. Yeah, without asking, we don't have this information, right? Yeah, maybe. Kind of makes me wonder if we should have asked something about it, but I'm also not sure if people would click the option, yes, I came here just because there's a quorum. Like that doesn't reflect too good, maybe. That's interesting. And yeah, then on anonymity, nobody indicated that they didn't participate because it not being anonymous. However, the current, and you can also see that on the response sheet, the data still needs to be split out to individual reactions because some people gave their input on all the work groups and then also had to, for every time they went through that, also needed to click yeah, response to the question on anonymity. So that is still a little bit unclear what the exact numbers are there. But from the looks, it's like about 2/3 of the people are completely fine with it having it not anonymous. And yeah, that
I
seems to be
feel
right.
bored with having to hit it with each vote every time, going, yeah, the anonymous thing is okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, well aware. Yeah, that I think everybody that did multiple iterations had the same like, is there another way of skipping this? But I mean, it's kind of the design of Google Forms that it's well, maybe it's possible. I'm not a Google Form wizard to only ask it once. Um, yeah, that was a bit annoying. Fully agreed. Um, let's see what else is there. Well, maybe I can show a little bit on the where did the button go? Getting proper stuck here. There we go. So on next steps, I assume it's now sharing the infographic on the timelines. Yeah, so basically discuss objections and governance workgroup. That happened today. Workgroups without any objections are approved. So that's also that happened. And ideally, yeah, I saw your message funny saying like in the coming days, but I think I will make some time available to help out on that and have it available tomorrow. Basically, there will be a document calling out the objections so that in that same document, the workgroups will be able to either provide clarity on raised questions or yeah, have a bit of a discussion trying to hopefully alleviate the objections. And if there needs to be any revision of the budget to reflect that, or maybe an update in the previous quarter's report, the deadline for that will be end of day Sunday. And yeah, then by Monday, we can send out a new consent form for the second round. which will have only 3 days total time. The deadline for then submitting that second round consent form will be Wednesday, end of day. And then hopefully we can discuss and finalize on Thursday, 26th, right before the start of the new quarter. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers. Any questions here, or any comments, or any feedback you feel like, oh, this was really bad or really good? Please feel free.
This time I took far less time going through the reviews and proposals, where I thought like, oh, that is still the same issue. I'm just gonna abstain. But I'm positively like I feel positive that others found the time to kind of do the complaints. So now I'm kind of taking back to that process, but I wonder how it affects now others, where they see I'm the only one complaining, where it was last quarter opposite. And if they now going to abstain, and this kind of mental game is gonna be interesting how it affects like if the proposals will pass. But yeah, the reason mainly was I felt like maybe if I keep objecting, that's not really like I don't have like a true valid reasons, and it takes several hours to come up with a proper answer how it could be improved and make the solution happen. So I thought like, okay, maybe just the iteration needs to happen there, or others need to also see the complaint first before I continue doing it. But after seeing these results, I feel like, okay, maybe it did have some effect that I complained last quarter, and now because I do see the similar like complaints that yeah are brought up. I'm just kind of feeling that I felt that we are not losing like some kind of measurability and quality, and people not really caring how others are doing or reporting on their work. But now I'm getting like the opposite feedback. So I'm happy that others took the step towards objecting, even though it is harder to do and takes more time.
Yeah, fair.
And
I
I
do
did
think.
accidentally click object on one proposal, so I did also see more work on the like options and description. So great work on the form too.
Well, I think you're stepping up last quarter. Yeah, that did inspire people. I mean, there's no data on this, but yeah, I was also happy to see that same thing happening.
I think we
Yeah.
should just take it in turns each quarter to be that person. There's always going to be one who's just putting objections in.
So it's not like this good friend, like good honest friend, but like the nasty neighbor or something. Like, yeah, maybe I found them. Go for it.
Yeah, that nasty neighbor remind me to the Simpson Family Guy. Hey, so yeah, no, some feedback of personal thing. Yeah, it was a long one. I did went through the whole thing yesterday. It took me more than 3 hours. Still part of the research and of the experiment for the dashboard and the platform we're putting together. So, and last time I didn't because of Tivo's same reason. We went through that already, and it's valid. I do agree probably that the quorum did probably got some engagement because that clear any kind of concern. I did present, I think, 7 objections, and I did change the dynamics to how to engage on the process. As I mentioned previously, I didn't. And also try to identify where to get better. So again, a concern or an objection is a concern that it's embedded towards better results or something to be addressed. It's not a block, but still definitely have to work on the process. So as we mentioned in earlier governance, Tivo, is that if we keep going with this quorum of the experimenting with that, we still need to output the concern and to follow on it, you know? So see if it doesn't repeat, because the previous concerns, they have repeat this time. So still, I think it's a long discussion, probably not for town hall, but definitely to address it, because there always, and it's not a thing for perfection or something, but there's always room for getting better or improvement, even in a perfect system. So we have something solid, but we need to get more serious in addressing those concerns in the timeline. And I do think it's the whole thing is pretty amazing. I was yesterday a couple of hours with DevOps, putting the tables together. And now that I see the spreadsheet that you shared, Peter, the results, all these data sets, we need to insert this to have a previous thing to compare on the when we test this one out. We can make that easy. What else I did like of the process? Yeah. No, the amount of information, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And sometimes that really is not on the say on context, because and I did to be honest, I did Objection 1. The report was perfect, but they haven't been participated on updates, sync workgroup thing. So I just object to see their faces and to see if we can push that part to be, there's commitment and that kind of thing also. And I was thinking also that probably we can video blogging report, or video blogging like a thing that we can do, like a short video that one of the members, so we can embed something like that on the platform. And a lot of room also for experimenting with this. So no, just that I did participate. Yeah, and it was a long 3 hours and a half.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing. Vanessa?
Yeah, it did take a bloody long time, didn't it? It was quite a process. What I was just going to say, Guillermo, is after you left the governance meeting earlier today, we were saying that one of the things, like you said, one of the things that would be amazing if the governance dashboard would be able to track issues. And I don't know if maybe that's going to mean integrating somehow with meeting summaries, so we can see where, or decisions, in the governance in the archives dashboard, so we can see where decisions have been made about the issues that were raised, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe it's something that a work group could feed in manually, but, where they've addressed something. But I think it's also about tracking where issues come up time and time again in consent processes, and then we don't hear anything about them. The other thing I was going to say is when you were talking about using the data that we've got in this spreadsheet, we've also got the spreadsheets from several previous iterations. So we could start looking at that comparison and that kind of tracking if we used old data from previous quarters as well.
Yeah, definitely, Bunny. Yeah, it can take a lot of time. Probably we can automate the thing, but definitely to compare. I open the thing and I see a lot of abstains and try to identify the why. That's again, there's a lot of things that we can do back in time, because we have all these summaries. Probably, what if we embed summaries into the iteration? Because the concept is each of this quarterly report, it will be just one iteration, and where you include different proposals, but at the same time, we keeping the thing open to have independent proposals and to make this iteration be named or have a specific target. There we will include education, there we will include all this other stuff. But yeah, a lot. I say probably we're gonna need to team up once we have the first kind of thing ready to test. Before we ride the bike, we need to go through the governance approval kind of thing, the community approval kind of, because this is designed by you guys. So probably I'm missing a lot of stuff. But yeah, really cool. Let's see. And also one of the concerns on the R&D, kind of before I left the call, it was kind of I don't know if a meme or some serious concern of some of the members, but still, yeah, looking forward to understand a little bit more of that, but probably later on. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, please. I think I may have touched on that when we went over them. I'll make sure after the tunnel to put the read of today's call in the governance channel as well. So if you're interested, you can just check what we were discussing about it. Then also what you mentioned, I think one of the few objections that were kind of seen as not legit were, like you called out, for example, the workgroup syncing call attendance. Yeah, that's technically we don't have this set as a mandatory thing. So then to set it as a objection against the budget proposal didn't feel quite. I mean, I see where you're getting from, seeing their faces and yeah, having them join the whole yeah, updating and keeping each other informed. But yeah, that were one of the few objections where you felt like, yeah, it's technically.
Yeah, I did want. We need that kind of thing on the platform. Okay, you're making me think of that. Not because if you abstain, and there were some, you can pick on the forms from several checkbox, but there wasn't. I don't know if there was a place just to call the attention. Again, I know it wasn't valid already, but probably we need that kind of red flag kind of team thing, call to action kind of place also.
Yeah, fair. Vanessa?
I was also thinking, I don't think we did very well with the drop down options for why people abstained. Because there was one that just said, I don't want to give an opinion on this work group. And it's just like, well, fucking hell, what does that mean? You know? So I just think maybe we could have, yeah, next time we need to kind of make it a bit clearer what it's actually saying. Because it does sound a bit sinister, that one.
Well, I would say compared to not having any information, it's a little step up. But also agreed that specific option does not really give that much information. Yeah, we didn't find ourselves having time during governance. It went over earlier today. But having a good proper look at the reasons for abstaining would also be quite useful, I feel. But yeah, there really was not enough time. And kind of related to that makes me wonder on the workgroup syncing, and I think it may have been you, Guillermo, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter who brings it up. But for example, not contributing to the end of year report. Yeah, it's not mandatory. So therefore, it felt like, again, not a legit objection. At the same time, yeah, maybe we could, like, especially if it's a yearly thing, that does feel to me like a bit easier than making a monthly call mandatory. Yeah, at the same time, maybe if you're not able to join as a work group, like at least write a couple of lines on if everything is good or something like that. Yeah, we could puzzle that out maybe.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, mandatory haven't been a great word, but still, one of the concerns of the objection was to the writers group that I presented, because the report, there was several stuff that I thought it is relevant that we addressed. It's it wouldn't, we would fix it, but some stuff get too late to cook. You know that already. So and some of us, we did spend some time on, putting input data on that to share with the community, because as you were mentioning, Ben and Human were talking about how important is community, and we know that. We don't need them to tell us. We know how it is, and really the things that I'm encountering every day in regards of community, that like the organic kits that are developing or playing with the tools and this kind of stuff that I was sharing with you the other day. Yeah, it's really cool to happen. So not that it's mandatory to be on a workgroup sync. Definitely one of a team of 10 should be able to fix the calendar. If still not, this kind of stuff, it's one of the larger budgets workgroup. I thought it was until things go through Quorum, okay, but still, I'm going to be a pain because we need to follow up on this. It's not that, okay, I gotta, you cross the bar, it's a green light, yeah. No, I think it will be good if we are able to even go through this, still get the sense of the consent process. If not, we should even engage. We should just let it go. So, and there was some cool stuff that we did last year that we have been reporting because it's part of monthly updates. It have been there, but it's the one occasion that we can do a lot of stuff. Not only write a blog, we can do videos about the year report, which we need to use that momentum, the whole thing. So probably we can do a half of the year kind of thing and push it out with a community page, as you mentioned the other day, that I think it's, still we have the opportunity to share all this stuff, maybe a video blog, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That would be good. At the same time, I don't want to put. Sorry, Tefo, I see you on mute. I'll keep it short. And I don't know. The end of year report still hasn't been published. I don't think so. It's June.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying that's a big red flag for me. The system Quorum just let that one without even. So I would like to have an address. I personally didn't have a response on why from whoever of the team. And I did spend some. I'm not going to say that I spent hours writing part of the guilt that but I did spend some time. So at least a response, or at least or a follow up or an idea, or not an excuse, but hey, we need to address that. For me, it's not cool that it just goes through because the consent process is designed this way. We need to go through that thing and agree. Not the best timing to put it out, but what do we do with that? Looking forward, okay.
Regarding consent process, I'm wondering also what's the feedback from Sark, Sukren, or Colleen, or Ashley, who are not as veterans, in my opinion, who is like every quarter doing it. And if they find it easy or hard to engage with the process. I noticed Colleen's name in the consent list, but I don't know, did you exercise both objections and consent and abstain and how many work groups and how daunting you felt the entire process?
Well, I think the process is just lengthy and it's going to be in itself, and especially for someone like me who isn't able to attend all of the meetings and know what's going on all the time. But yeah, and there's 21 work groups, of course. Yeah, it's a process. I felt that I was the objections. I thought the reasoning that you could choose which reason that you felt there was enough of those to be able to choose, which one was applicable to my situation, how I felt. I didn't do any abstains, and I only had a few objections. So, does that answer your question?
But did you go through all the work groups, or you selected only with the ones that you are engaged with or knew about?
I was going through alphabetically and sending the responses to my email, so I thought I had all 21.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Anyone else wants to share? Because Colleen got kind of put on the spot there, but some others were mentioned as well. Feel free to chime in.
Yeah, what happened with the end of year report? I remember doing some things on it.
It's sitting to be published since a while. It's just not getting published.
Weird.
So for what it's worth, I did mention like when we'll have this community website, which should be shortly. We could just for sure we can put it there. But yeah, it's just weird. Like I mentioned, it's June. We shouldn't be publishing about what we did 2024 anymore. Kind of feels like ship has sailed a bit. At the same
And
time,
the site
it's a
looks
really
good,
big waste. Sorry?
The site looks really good. The site looks great. Getting my first look at it.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't work on it for making it look good, so I'll pass on the compliments. Yeah, I see Ian also asking who is building this. It's basically a shared effort between Deep Funding, Ambassador Program, and BGI Nexus. And yeah, the idea there being like we'll funnel all the community into one place, and then they can puzzle out what's most interesting to them, basically. And yeah, so right now this is done by a Deep Funding team. And we will.
When you say deep funding team, do you mean circles or like real team?
No, more foundation side. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, more SNet Foundation side people. But we will get backend access, and I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me put it like that. If we happen to have a whole bunch of WordPress experience in our ranks, I can do static content. That's it. So yeah. But we would get quite a bit of freedom there, as long as the intention is that it's at least on the imaging side that it does look coherent with the other two entities, and there might be more entities coming there as well over time. Yeah, sure. If you happen to have objections, sorry, just reading chat now. Yeah, you most definitely can. All right. So any further comments or I mean, agenda-wise, that was pretty much all I had for today. We do still have 19 minutes on the slot in which any topic goes.
I have a little announcement about, it's actually regarding Kevin Fry. He had approached me to ask if I could kind of gather some information on the side projects that some of the ambassadors are doing. He would like to be able to support and possibly spotlight some of them. So I have a spreadsheet that I put together, and I put one of my projects on it as an example, so that if we could get a little bit of idea, if somebody wants to share, you don't have to share what else you might be working on. But as you know, it's quite popular for ambassadors to have side projects and be doing other things as well. So I think it'd be very interesting to see what everyone's working on. So yeah, I'd love to see if anyone wants to include something maybe they've done in the past, even too. I just put something small that I did, and it happened to relate to the ambassador program. But yeah, I mean, we all have our own little agendas, and I think it's good to know what each other's working on. Yeah, I'm going to do that in Ambassador General, right? I think I have the ability to do that. So thank you, Vanny. I'll make sure it gets there. But yeah, Kevin has a good idea, and he's supporting a lot of, especially women athletes. So he is a real good champion for a lot of sources for women, and I just think he's just an amazing person for what he's been doing, running around the world and supporting all these people. So I try to support him as well. So yeah, if you want to include some information, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, great initiative. Yeah, and also agreed on what you mentioned about Kevin. It's been a puzzle a little bit still how we can support there. We as ambassador program, because there's AI involved, clearly. It's not directly Singularity net. There's some engagements with ecosystem projects, which that kind of ties in. But for example, on the business side of things, I wouldn't say that's currently one of our strong suits. Let's put it like that.
And Vanny, I'll be sure to put it in Discred. Yeah, no problem.
Had to scroll up to find out why you said it in that pronunciation. Nice.
I'm not quite clear what you mean by the spin-off project. So what is the scope here? What's added?
What do you mean? What does that mean? A side project or spinoff? I mean,
Yeah, like what's
yeah, maybe that's the wrong terminology. You think maybe I'm saying the wrong thing?
well,
Maybe
when you
side
first
projects?
say spin-off projects, then I'm thinking about a Singularity and spin-offs, which are
Right,
like
you're right, you're right. I think I need to change it then. I'll change it to side project. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah.
But when you say side projects, how do we also know the scope? Like what
So,
makes it an ambassador side project?
well, I think if you're an ambassador and then you have, side projects, wouldn't that qualify? No. What do you think?
Okay, so a personal connection with other relevant projects but it has to be related to ambassador or SingularityNet, or it's
Yeah, I suppose. I guess I'm assuming because mine just relate back to AI. So yeah, maybe I'm just assuming that. Maybe I need to specify that it needs to relate somehow to Singularity Net ecosystem or ambassador program itself. Yeah.
That's your sheet, so you can make up the rules, I guess. But
Yeah, that's a good point though. Right, right.
the way I understood it, it would be like just sharing what other things you're involved with, generally speaking, so that if there's a potential overlap, and you can share, and you're aware of others' interests
Yeah.
and stuff.
So maybe either way, regardless of what it is. Yeah.
if the scope is too large, then I wonder what's the difference between using LinkedIn, for example. But if it's like scope to ambassador program, then it's different because I don't know, I think none of the ambassador, well, technically, yes, if you go through the Linktree stuff, but yeah.
I see. And Tevel, in your case, you've got some amazing projects, right? They would have octopus arms everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's simpler because if I just look at it, it's like, well, I like deal with a lot of things, but I don't know what to put there. But for some,
Right.
even if they are only in few projects, they don't know if is that good enough. Like they have no requirements to say checklist. Like, yes, this is enough to go on the sheet. If you say
Okay.
if the rule is that if you are a core contributor ambassador program, list all the activities you want others people to know about you're working with, then it's okay, checklist, I can put that in. And if we
Right.
want to have like a understanding of related projects or side projects, then I'm wondering why it's not a proposal in the ambassador program. But
I just something I was just trying to get some general information for Kevin on, and I wasn't trying to get in too deep. I got a couple other things going on. So
I mean, it sounds like it's trying to gather information on what things ambassadors are doing outside the ambassador program. So if it's related to AI, then I would say even if it's not directly related to the ambassador program, it sounds like that's what he's interested in.
yeah, I would think so. Yeah, sounds about right. Related to AI is another good check mark. All right.
It's currently named site of projects, so but it's closer.
What is it? What I do? Side off. Oh, a side off. What is a side off project? How's that?
you started the spin-off project, but it then got off the site. I don't know.
Your offside project. Yeah, right. You're offsides. It'd be a football call, huh? All right. And where would I put these? Could I put these as? How would I put these? I would just put them in, I guess, in with the channel, right? In with the channel to ask the kind of questions to see if they want to include them. Are you a core contributor? Is the project ambassador related? Is it related to AI? Those questions I would just put, I guess, in the post, huh?
In the Google Sheet, I would even say some like top list above the table. So whenever, however they up, because I don't know, maybe somebody just shares the link and like you get to the link somehow, but you don't have the context, and the context is outside the link, then it's a problem.
Right. Well, maybe that's true. But is that just questions though to ask themselves, or do I need to? Yeah, you know what? I'll put it also in the columns. I'll do that to be able to keep that data, but then maybe include it in a quick infographic or something. Those 3 questions. Any more than those 3 questions you think would be good to find out?
I don't even think for myself, I don't think the core contributor one matters because that fluctuates each quarter.
That's
So
true. Have you ever been a core contributor? Would that be anything
are you
necessary?
now or have you ever been?
No, you don't want to say that? No, that's too broad. Okay.
No, I'm just joking about the yeah,
Okay.
sort of communist. Are you now? Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
No. Oh my God. Yeah, we don't want that. All right.
It would
So
also be
this
fine if there's a potential connection to be made, like then that's good, right? Like it's not going to be like, oh, but you were never a core contributor. Let's skip this whole episode, this collaboration.
Yeah, right. We don't want that. So is it bastard related? Is it related to AI? Yeah, we all do side hustles. Not all, but pretty much. I thought it was an unusual feature of ambassadors as well, that probably all ambassadors are pretty much that way and pretty much entrepreneurial for the most part. So I like that angle about it too.
Yeah. Actually, today I was reading the Cardano Interconstitutional Committee like members, and it took me like 4 hours to go through just 2 candidates out of I don't know how many, 20 are there. And actually maybe one is interested. I looked at the New Zealand and like that council, and Joe Allam is working on very interesting projects which are actually looking like what we have established in like early days, and they have like one is was something rules of code guild, which was like, holy shit, like very like governance people are coming together and doing the same work we are doing, but on governmental level, like going to the institution, hey, your measurements, your data, let's put this team together, let's build these open source tools, and now different countries are adopting these same tools. I'm like, holy shit, what are we doing here? Like we're a small team doing our own governance, but they're working on like a governmental level and so else. And very similar like processes, what we have like the town halls and the weekly cadences and the secretariat and all that kind of internal stuff is also established, and like transparency of how do you see the work. So it's cool to go through like individuals, but it also takes a lot of time. So I feel like that itself, that what you're trying to attempt here is something similar. However, maybe the problem here is like, what is the cause to go through these people and see, like, okay, one, I already see that, okay, what other projects could relate to Singularity, or what we need to be aware of, or maybe we can collaborate or promote.
Right.
Maybe that's the agenda of what we can do here, where there was more like, okay, do I want them to govern Cardano or like be the like supporting body to do decisions and governance actions? And that was the intention, to know who are behind these people and why they are like like they want to be the candidates. Where here is more like there isn't that drive for me to go through all the list of people. But maybe marketing will find it very valuable, because that's maybe something on that area.
Right. And Van is saying that it'd be interesting to map the cross collaborations, with who in this ecosystem has worked with who on what. Yeah, it would definitely be some really good data to have and to know. And quite honestly, this is what I envision for global AI governance anyways, it to build on and actually world government as well, to be decentralized. And definitely we're a huge model. We are, guys. Know that.
Do you remember those websites that you would put in the title of a book and it would suggest other books that were kind of similar or related or somehow? I imagine that with people and just seeing these nets of influence and connection, and not just where they've collabed, but where they've diverged as well, which I think is even more interesting. I think I know more about somebody if I know who they've worked with than I know what they disagreed on. I think I know more about them.
That is so true, the disagreements. And that's something that I really want to focus on in discussions, is having people with differing opinions who want to get into maybe not a formal debate, but to actually really get into discussions and have them kind of be emotional. I'm with the understanding that helps AI understand nuance. So that would be great to get those differing opinions in a discussion. Yeah. What is the link here? Taboo.
Oh, that's the thing I was sharing about the governance thing.
Looking
And
at
it took you a long time to go through it, you said?
That particular thing, I only spent maybe like initially like 30 minutes on that one, but later I watched, they have like town hall videos, so I kind of skimmed through a few of them, and it's like, again, like that, this is how I got like the rest of the information and like relation. But in general, I mean, it takes a lot of time to kind of understand, is the person having impact, or he's just doing it for money, or is it passion, like, and like figuring out the personality and why he's being a candidate. Like I have like a very specific reason why yes, money, yes, that's also the Catalyst project that they got funded, and yeah,
it sounded familiar to me too. Yeah.
I didn't also know it was a Catalyst project, but basically I learned that also in, I think, first town hall. I was just checking in. Usually in first town hall you talk about what is this all about, and they said it was on the project.
All right. Just noticed the time, and we're 3 minutes before the end of the show. So I do want to put a quick last check to the room to see if there's any questions or comments that we do need to touch in touch on right now. Because we can.
Now, you did mention something, Pete, about Workgroups sync. And this month I've also, now I'm thinking out loud because I have a deadline, but we have a couple of days less. So next Wednesday is our last monthly thing. Today 17. Check on the calendar. When do we do the town hall, the monthly update?
Well,
this month is short, it's like
that has
it's
to
gonna
be
be
next week, right?
finished on a Tuesday, the 1st.
Yeah, I think next week then will be the work group updates one. Because I mean,
Okay.
we always have the last Tuesday, so I'm inclined to stick to that.
Okay, let's do that. But let's put some purple, yellow letters out so we have people joining.
Yes, that would be great. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me help you with that. Yeah.
And then on work group sync and call, kind of inclined. Well, we do have almost a full week after that call before it's actually the end of the month. But that has been relatively, well, I don't know, a bit of a hassle sometimes. Also getting attendance.
Yeah.
I guess it's quite in the same vein.
Yeah, and that's Monday the 30th.
Well,
The next
we,
other
we,
Monday.
we had it on Monday twice now, and I'm not quite
It
convinced
didn't
it's
work
the
out.
perfect.
It didn't, no? It didn't work for us. Well,
Yeah, not really, I feel, but also very open to input there.
yeah. Who else thinks we should change the day or try something different?
I
Yeah,
think,
wasn't the last one Monday?
yeah, it was really late in the day as well, and I think that wasn't ideal for people.
Right. I
then we
remember it was
did-
ideal for me, but I remember for you guys it's not, yeah.
We did do a Monday that was a bit earlier, and that, if I remember rightly, was okay.
Okay. So you guys figure out, let's make it feasible for your time, because 90% of workgroup leads are at the same time zone, kind of. So, and then later we will adapt here the ones on the west. Okay.
I could even do a little poll, like highlighting a couple of options across the days and times. It's at least well in advance right now, not too late to sort that. I think that's it. Quick check: is R&D Guild tomorrow, Guillermo? Because the calendar says it is.
Yeah, I know, and we still need to fix on this new outlet the ambassadors account. I didn't want to bother you with that, but yeah, we do that, and we're gonna do Latam. Yeah, and Tivo is gonna come. We're gonna discuss his proposal that actually is gonna help put in our time slots and organize ourselves for meetings. So you want to know more about that? Join tomorrow, and we have been sharing some links with him. There's some cool stuff that we can build and use. Yeah. So more to come tomorrow. R&D. What time was that? 14, 13 for me. It's
17:30. Yeah.
Okay, 5:30 p.m. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow then.
Okay, I was just making sure if it was actually taking place, because I thought it might not, but it is, so that's nice. Cool.
Yeah, there's some other update on governance, but we're gonna keep that one for next Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I do think we're there. 2 minutes over, but close enough. Thanks all for being here and sharing your opinions and
Bye,
being.
Guillermo.
Do have a nice remainder of the Tuesday and see you, well, Maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, maybe on Discord. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, Pete.
Bye.
Thank you, man. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Cheers.